Well, hello, good morning, and welcome to the Daily Cyber Briefing. I'm your host, Rich Benfield, standing in for Stephen Ridgway. Today is Friday, July the 4th, and it's 8:30 in the morning. Your headlines today are a new 123 Stealer malware rented on the dark web for $120 a month. China-linked group Houken hit French organizations using 0 days. Massive Android fraud operations uncovered. Icon adds kaleidoscope SMS malware and NFC scams. Azure API vulnerabilities expose VPN keys and grant overprivileged access via built-in roles. And Citrix alerts on authentication failures after NetScaler update to resolve auth vulnerability. So to the top. A new credential stealing malware, dubbed 123 Stealer, has surfaced on underground cybercrime forums, with the threat actor known as Conoco offering the tool for rent at $120 per month. The malware, which is being marketed as a powerful and flexible information stealer, is drawing attention for its claimed features and competitive pricing, though its effectiveness remains unverified by the broader cybercriminal community. So here's some key features and technical details. So it's written in C++, suggesting a focus on performance and portability. It's a DLL-free stub. It's a compact standalone executable, which may help it evade some detection mechanisms. It does have a requirement for proxy servers, so the operators must set up a proxy server compatible with Ubuntu or Debian, indicating a level of operational complexity and a possible attempt to obscure command and control traffic. It has comprehensive data theft capabilities, so it'll extract browser data, cookies, safe passwords, and browsing history. Crypto wallets, it will target digital wallets, which is a growing focus for modern stealers. Process and file grabs, and browser extensions. The admin panel reportedly supports over 70 browser extensions, including those for major Chromium and Gecko-based browsers, as well as Discord and other popular platforms. The rise of 123 Stealer reflects a broader trend in the cybercrime ecosystem, where malware as a service offerings are becoming increasingly accessible and affordable. Similar stealers, such as Redline and Llama C2, have been observed on dark web markets, often providing a range of credential theft and data exfiltration features for a monthly fee. These tools are typically used to harvest sensitive information, which is then sold or leveraged for further attacks, including account takeovers and financial fraud. The lack of public reviews or endorsements from other cybercriminals means that the true capabilities of 123 Stealer remain unverified. In the underground economy, reputation and proven effectiveness are critical for adoption, so it remains to be seen whether this new stealer will gain traction. Security researchers warn that the proliferation of such tools lowers the barrier to entry for cybercriminals, enabling even less technically skilled actors to launch sophisticated attacks. The modular design and support for a wide array of browser extensions and platforms makes 123 Stealer a potential threat to both individuals and organizations, should its claims prove accurate. While 123 Stealer is the latest entrant in a crowded field of info-stealer malware, its real-world impact will depend on its effectiveness and the trust it earns within cybercriminal circles. Organizations are urged to remain vigilant, update security protocols, and monitor for signs of credential theft as the threat landscape continues to evolve. Next, China-linked group Houken hit French organizations using 0 days. So, France's cyber agency, ANSI, good name, revealed that a Chinese hacking group used Ivanti CSA 0 days to target government, telecom, media, finance, and transport sectors. The campaign, active since September 2024, is linked to the Houken intrusion set, which overlaps with UNC 5174, aka UTS, tracked by Mandiant. In September 2024, ANSI identified a campaign exploiting Ivanti CSA 0 days to breach French entities across key sectors. The attack used a unique intrusion set dubbed Houken, which combines 0-day exploits and a rootkit with Chinese open source tools and diverse infrastructure like VPNs and dedicated servers. Houken likely serves as an access broker selling system footholds, with some activity showing data theft and crypto mining. At the beginning of September 2024, an attacker repeatedly exploited vulnerabilities CVE 2024-8190, CVE 2024-8963, and CVE 2024-9380. Links to those CVEs are in this article, and this article will be posted in all the socials alongside this briefing. So They exploited those vulnerabilities to remotely execute arbitrary code on vulnerable Ivanti cloud service application devices. These vulnerabilities were exploited as 0 days before the publication of the Ivanti Security Advisory, reads a report published by ANSI. The attacker opportunistically chained these vulnerabilities to gain initial access on Ivanti CSA appliances with the intention of obtaining credentials through the execution of base64 encoded Python scripts, ensuring persistence by deploying or creating PHP web shells, modifying existing PHP scripts to add web shells capabilities, and occasionally installing a kernel module which acts as a rootkit once loaded. The attacker tried to self-patch Ivanti CSA flaws too to block other threat actors, then moved laterally, did reconnaissance activities, stole credentials, and set persistence. ANSI saw activity in November 2024. At the end of 2024, the French Cyber Agency observed multiple attacks on local entities across key sectors. After compromising Ivanti CSA devices, attackers moved laterally, stole credentials, and tried to persist on networks. The government experts pointed out that the activity aligned with China Standard Time, UTC+8. ANSI aided impacted organizations with forensics and response. The Houken intrusion set exploited 0-day flaws in Ivanti CSA devices to gain initial access to French networks. Once inside, attackers used tools like NeoRejorg, Behinder, and Go reverse, my bad, to maintain persistence and control the compromised systems. Their infrastructure included anonymization services such as NordVPN and Tor, VPSs, and residential IPs. They reused IPs, deployed web shells, modified PHP scripts, and used a sophisticated rootkit to hijack the TCP traffic. The TTPs suggest a capable actor targeting high-value systems likely for espionage or sale of access. The Houken's tactics range from basic, noisy use of open-source tools, often developed by Chinese-speaking communities, to more advanced techniques like zero-day exploitation and rootkit development, hinting at a multi-actor operation. Houken targets a wide array of entities, prioritizing Southeast Asian governments and education sectors, NGOs, and Western institutions linked to state functions. Links to UNC 5174, a group tied to China's MSS, suggest a shared operator selling access and intelligence. The threat actor behind the Houken and UNC 5174 intrusion sets might correspond to a private entity selling accesses and worthwhile data to several state-linked bodies while seeking its own interests, leading lucrative-oriented operations. Such behavior was already observed for Chinese-linked intrusion sets related to the APT-41 galaxy and previously linked to numerous private sector entities, ANSI concludes. So, next we have a massive Android fraud. So, a mobile ad fraud operation dubbed Icon Ads that consisted of 352 Android apps has been disrupted, according to a new report from Houken. The identified apps were designed to load out-of-context ads on a user screen and hide their icons from the device home screen launcher, making it harder for victims to remove them, per the company's Satori threat intelligence and research team. The apps have since been removed from the Play Store by Google. The ad fraud scheme accounted for 1.2 billion bid requests a day at the height of its activity. The vast majority of Icon Ads associated traffic originated from Brazil, Mexico, and the US. It's worth noting that Icon Ads is a variant of a threat that's also tracked by other cybersecurity vendors under the name Hidden Ads and Vapor, with the malicious apps repeatedly slipping past the Google Play Store since at least 2019. Some of the common characteristics of these apps include the use of obfuscation to conceal device information during network comms, a set naming pattern used for the command and control domains, and its ability to replace the default main launcher activity by declaring an alias. This means that when the app is installed, the default label name and icon will be displayed, but as soon as the app runs, the activity alias declared on the manifest will be active and persist even after relaunching the app or rebooting the device, Houken said. This behavior, in turn, causes the app's name and icon to be hidden from the home screen, preventing easy uninstallation. The end goal of the apps is to load interstitial ads, regardless of which app is active, effectively disrupting user experience. Some variants of Icon Ads apps have been found to impersonate the Google Play Store or using other Google-related application icons and names instead of concealing them. Clicking on the app redirects the victim to the official app, while a malicious activity is taking place in the background. Some of the other new additions incorporated into new iterations of the malicious apps are a check to determine if the application was installed from the Play Store, as well as feature more layers of obfuscation to resist dynamic analysis. Many icon ads associated apps have short shelf lives before being removed from the Play Store, human researchers said. With, with the several evolutions of this threat, researchers expect continued adaptation, with new apps published and new obfuscation techniques added. The disclosure comes as IIS Threat Lab exposed another insidiously adaptive ad fraud operation called Kaleidoscope that resorts to the evil twin technique, wherein legitimate-looking apps hosted on Google Play as a deceptive facade, while its malicious duplicate counterparts distributed predominantly through third-party app stores drive fraudulent ad supply. Kaleidoscope is an evolution of Confetti, a similar ad fraud scheme that revolved around apps embedding an advertising framework called Caramel Ads SDK. The newly identified apps have since removed references to Caramel Ads and included the core functionality into other manipulated SDKs under different names like Leisure, Raccoon, and Ads Club. The essence of the operation is this. Cybercriminals create two nearly identical versions of the same app, a harmless decoy twin available on Google Play and an evil twin that's distributed through third-party app stores or fake websites. The evil twin app then generates intrusive, unwanted ads to fraudulently earn advertising revenue. According to telemetry data from ESET for the period December 2024 to May 2025, Kaleidoscope impacts a large number of Android users across the world, the most affected being Latin America, Turkey, Egypt, and India due to the popularity of third-party app stores in those regions. The adware activity kicks in when users unintentionally install the evil twin apps, resulting in intrusive ads and degraded device performance. But since the ads are served via the copycat apps, it tricks advertisers into paying the fraudsters for illegitimate ad views. The primary monetization strategy in this scheme relies on malicious duplicates distributed through third-party app stores, where a benign app ID is exploited by a malicious counterpart to generate added impressions and drive revenue, IIS said. The malicious app delivers intrusive out-of-context ads under the guise of the benign app ID in the form of full-screen interstitial images and videos triggered even without user interaction. A significant chunk of Kaleidoscope's monetization has been traced back to a Portuguese company named Saturn Dynamic that claims to offer a way to monetize display ads and videos. Android devices have also come under assault from various malware families like Ngate and Supercard X that abuse the near-field communication technology to commit financial fraud using inventive relay techniques that allow NFC signals from a victim's payment card to be routed through the compromised phone to attacker-controlled devices, enabling criminals to withdraw cash from ATMs remotely. Mobile malware campaigns leveraging these malicious programs have claimed successful infections across Russia, Italy, Germany, and Chile. Ngate has also been an inspiration for another NFC-based technique referred to as Ghost Tap, which involves the attackers using stolen card data to register them in their own digital wallets like Google Pay and Apple Pay. The loaded wallets are subsequently relayed to conduct fraudulent contactless payments anywhere in the world. Ghost Tap attackers create fraudulent transactions by tapping compromised mobile devices against NFC-enabled payment terminals, ESET noted. These transactions appear legitimate, bypassing traditional security checks and allowing criminals to cash out quickly. And those findings coincide with the discovery of a new Android malware campaign that's distributing a previously unidentified SMS stealer called Quiz Serial that has infected nearly 100,000 devices, primarily in Uzbekistan. The resulting financial losses are estimated to be at least $62,000 between March and June 2025. First discovered by Group IB in March 2024, the malware is designed to harvest a list of installed financial apps, intercept 2FA SMS codes, and exfiltrate the details to the attackers via Telegram bots. Masquerading as legitimate banking apps and government services, Quiz Serial is mainly distributed in the form of APK files on bogus Telegram channels that claim to be government entities and officials. Simply put, the attacks abuse a trust users place in government services to trick them into installing the apps. Okay. Next, Azure API vulnerabilities expose VPN keys and grant overprivileged access via built-in roles. So token security experts recently conducted a thorough investigation that exposed serious security weaknesses in Microsoft Azure's role-based access control architecture. Azure RBAC, the backbone of permission management in the cloud platform, allows administrators to assign roles to users, groups, or service principals with predefined permissions at varying scopes, from entire subscriptions to specific resources. However, the investigation unearthed that several built-in roles intended to provide limited service-specific access are misconfigured with excessive privileges. Roles such as Managed Applications Reader and Log Analytics Reader, among a total of 10 identified, grant the overly broad */read permission, effectively mirroring the generic reader role. This allows access to sensitive metadata across all Azure resources, far beyond what their descriptions suggest. Such overprivileging can enable attackers to extract credentials from automation accounts, map network configs for further exploitation, and uncover critical data in storage accounts or backup vaults, creating a fertile ground for privilege escalation and attack planning. Compounding the issue, researchers discovered a severe vulnerability in the Azure API that permits the leakage of VPN gateway pre-shared keys using only read permissions. Typically, Azure enforces permissions through HTTP method distinctions. Read-only operations use GET, while sensitive data retrievals are safeguarded with POST requests to block unauthorized access. However, an oversight in the API design led to the VPN connection shared key retrieval being implemented as a GET request, bypassing intended security controls. This flaw allows an attacker with minimal read access, often obtained via the aforementioned overprivileged roles, to fetch the PSK for site-to-site VPN connections. Armed with this key, a malicious actor could establish a rogue connection, gaining unauthorized entry to internal cloud assets, virtual private clouds, and even on-premise networks linked through the Azure VPN gateway. This vulnerability transforms a seemingly innocuous read permission into a gateway for deep network infiltration, particularly devastating in hybrid environments where cloud and on-prem systems intersect. So upon disclosure, Microsoft classified the overprivileged roles as a low-severity issue, opting to update documentation rather than restrict the role's permissions, leaving organizations exposed to potential misuse. Conversely, the VPN PSK leak was deemed important, prompting a swift fix by mandating a specific permission for key access, alongside a $7,500 bounty awarded to the researcher. So the details of that particular permission are listed in this article. So again, this article will be linked in the socials, so follow it up if you're using that original read permission. To safeguard against these threats, organizations must proactively audit and restrict the use of the identified overprivileged roles, replacing them with custom roles tailored to minimal necessary permissions. Limiting role scopes to specific resources or resource groups rather than broad subscriptions further reduces risk. As cloud security remains a shared responsibility, this incident underscores the need for vigilance. Blind trust in provider tools can lead to catastrophic breaches. For robust protection, continuous monitoring and validation of permissions are essential to prevent identity-driven attacks in Azure environments. And finally, the continuation of a bad week for Citrix. Citrix has issued an urgent advisory for NetScaler users following the release of builds 14.1.47.46 and 13.1.59.19, warning of potential authentication disruptions stemming from a 16c3. A newly implemented security feature. As part of Citrix Secure by Design and Secure by Default initiative, the CSP header, that stands for Content Security Policy for those who aren't aware, has been enabled by default in these builds to bolster defenses against client-side threats such as cross-site scripting and code injection attacks. While the CSP header restricts the execution of unauthorized scripts and external content, significantly reducing browser-based vulnerabilities, it has inadvertently caused compatibility issues with certain authentication configurations, leaving some customers unable to access their NetScaler gateway authentication portals. This affects setups involving Duo configurations based on radius authentication, custom SAML integrations, and other identity provider systems that rely on scripts or resources not aligned with these strict CSP rules, often resulting in broken login pages or failed authentication attempts. The unintended consequence of this security enhancement has prompted Citrix to provide a temporary resolution for affected users, while urging them to collaborate with support for a permanent fix. Disabling the default CSP header is the immediate workaround, achievable via the command line interface, with commands like set AAA parameter minus default CSP header space disabled, followed by save space ns space config, or through the NetScaler GUI by navigating to NetScaler Gateway, Global Settings, Authenticator Settings, and setting the default CSP header to disabled. Okay, so that's a stopgap measure. Disabling CSP temporarily alleviates the issue, but reintroduces exposure to the very risks the policy aims to mitigate. So the company strongly encourage reaching out to their support team to analyze specific configurations, be it Duo, SAML, or other IDP setups, and tailor CSP compliant solutions that maintain security without disrupting functionality. This development underscores a delicate balance between fortifying systems against evolving cyber threats and ensuring seamless user experience. Citrix acknowledges that while the CSP header is a critical step forward in safeguarding NetScaler environments, its rollout highlights the challenges of retrofitting robust security into diverse pre-existing apps. For organizations where authentication workflows were functional prior to the upgrade, the sudden enforcement of CSP rules can feel like an unexpected hurdle. To address lingering issues, Citrix support is prepared to assist with detailed diagnostics and configuration adjustments. Additionally, users are directed to the official Citrix documentation on content security policy response headers for deeper insights into its mechanics and best practices. As cyber threats grow in sophistication, such proactive measures, though initially disruptive, are essential to long-term resilience, and Citrix remains committed to refining this balance through ongoing collaboration with its user base to ensure both security and accessibility are upheld. Okay, so that concludes today's daily cyber briefing. Put my teeth back in. Excuse me, I do apologise. Normal service will be resumed on Monday with Stephen Ridgway. So thank you for listening to me this week, and I hope you have a good day and enjoy your weekends. Thank you.